Welcome to Upcycled Adulting, Reclaimed Midlife. Today, we're going to continue talking about perimenopause and menopause symptoms and how to manage them. I'm going to be discussing in detail emotional and mental health symptoms and sharing 7 powerful ways to take control of these symptoms and feel your absolute best. Now, do not forget to subscribe because every single week I am bringing you new information about navigating perimenopause, menopause, and midlife in general so that you can reclaim your midlife and feel your absolute best. So let's get started here. As we go through perimenopause and menopause, we're experiencing a lot of fluctuation in hormones. In perimenopause, we have fluctuating up and down all over the place, estrogen and progesterone. And in menopause, we have a decline in estrogen and progesterone. And for a lot of women, we experience almost a exaggeration of PMS or pregnancy symptoms, including emotional and mental health symptoms. It's so important to know that every organ in your body has estrogen receptors, and that includes your gut and your brain. And that explains why we have such profound symptoms emotionally and mental health wise when it comes to perimenopause and menopause. Just last night, my sister sent me a text message saying that she was concerned that she was experiencing cognitive decline, maybe early onset Alzheimer's, because of some of these symptoms. So if that is you, I want you to know that that is a very common experience. You are absolutely not alone, and there is something that you can do about it. So let's talk first about the range of symptoms you may be experiencing. And by no means is this an exhaustive list, meaning you may be having different symptoms than these, but these are the ones that are most commonly discussed, pointed to, and that are very common struggles for midlife women. One, mood swings, feeling fine one minute and angry the next, or sad the next. This is a very, very common experience for women in perimenopause and menopause. Two, irritability. If you have not heard the term meno rage or peri rage yet, I just want you to know it's a real thing. That increased irritability or decreased tolerance for other nonsense is a very, very prominent feature of perimenopause and menopause. It's like we hit this place where we're like, we are just done. We're done with the nonsense. We're done putting up with it. We are absolutely done. In addition to this, with this irritability, you might notice that you're experiencing more sensitivity to overstimulation, and that could be what's causing some of the irritability. So things that you may have dismissed before are now annoying you, or you're feeling consistently overstimulated, so you are more irritable because of that. Number 3, which ties right into this, is anxiety and stress. Most women in perimenopause and menopause experience an increase in stress and anxiety. This is actually very much connected to that hormone fluctuation or decrease, because as our estrogen and progesterone start really fluctuating and decreasing, we actually experience higher levels of cortisol, which also explains the cortisol belly some of us are having. And that cortisol level can actually cause more anxiety and more stress, even to the point of having panic attacks. My sister had also shared with me that she feels anxiety in her body, not so much in her thoughts, but she can feel it in her body. A lot of women experience that waking up at 3 a.m., waking up in the morning with anxiety, that is actually being caused by cortisol issues. And if you're having this as a disruptive sleep thing, meaning at 3 a.m. or when you wake up in the morning you're anxious, I highly recommend you check out my videos about sleep specifically, because that will really help with this. And again, do not forget to subscribe, because I'm digging into all of these things in so much detail to help you best navigate them. The next one is depression or low mood. You may feel checked out. You might feel hopeless. You might actually not really feel like you're getting joy out of the things you used to. I have seen a lot of people describe this as feeling kind of blah, or their life being kind of gray. And I think that that is a very common experience at this phase in life as well. Next is difficulty concentrating or forgetfulness, which is why my sister was so concerned about cognitive decline. If you are walking into rooms and you cannot remember why you're there, okay? If you are trying to exercise, but you can't remember which arm or which leg you just did that exercise on, if you are struggling to remember names, if you are losing things, can't find your keys, even to the point of you are almost losing yourself in space where you're bumping into things, you're finding yourself more clumsy. This is part of the emotional and mental health symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. And next, last but not least, is loss of identity and purpose. So many women going through perimenopause and menopause or in midlife feel like they have lost their identity of their purpose. They don't know what's next, feel like it's too late to take on something new, don't know what that something new would be, even if they were thinking it wasn't too late, just really feeling like my life isn't what I expected it to be at this point. I don't know what I want in my future. That is a very, very normal experience. And I'm going to really dig into that one a lot more and tell you very in detail how to deal with that as we go through these 7 solutions. So solution number 1 is set boundaries. I cannot emphasize enough how important boundaries are, and they are more important in perimenopause and menopause than ever before. I feel like a lot of times as midlife women, we are asked to do a lot of things or expected to do a lot of things because we have free time, or because we are at an age in our lives where we can. I want to encourage you to set boundaries. I want to encourage you to at least pause before you say yes. And in addition to that, I want to point out here that part of setting boundaries is also creating space for yourself and communicating your needs and having an expectation that your needs are honored or met. If you are struggling with irritability or anxiety and you know that part of this is overstimulation, part of this is that you need a quiet moment or you need to have quiet space for yourself, it is a not only reasonable but a right thing to ask for that space, to say, you know what, there can't be 5 things on at one time. You know what? When I'm listening to music and making dinner, I'm not taking questions, okay? I'm not navigating those things. I feel like when we do this, we actually allow ourselves a little bit of space to decompress. And I have to tell you that as inconvenient as you may feel like that is for the people in your life, or as badly as you may feel about doing that, because we are pretty conditioned to be people pleasers and to accommodate all these things and to not rock the boat, so to speak, setting the boundary, okay, asking for the space, communicating what you need is way better for the other people in your life than blowing up, losing your cool, having a panic attack, right? So what we can do to care better for ourselves is going to have a ripple effect on those around us. It is worth it. Absolutely do it. I know it's not the easiest thing to do. You can go back in my library and find videos about how to set boundaries. Again, don't forget to subscribe. I'm always talking about things to help you better approach them and feel confident about it. Number 2 is prioritize self-care. Now, I think when we think of self-care, we think of taking a bath or getting a pedicure. And when I say prioritize self-care, what I mean here is make sure that you're getting your movement, nourish yourself well, prioritize your sleep and your bedtime routine, okay? Make sure that you are doing the things that you need to do to care well for your body and mind in this stage of life. Perimenopause and menopause come with their own unique challenges and health risks, and they increase a lot of disease risk in your life. And that means that taking care of yourself, taking care of your body, taking care of yourself, it is a non-negotiable at this point in your life. It does not matter how inconvenient or challenging it is for the people in your life to accommodate the fact that you now are going to be eating this, not going there. You're going to get some time for a workout. You're going for a walk after dinner. It needs to happen to prolong not only your lifespan, but also your health span. And I would say more importantly, your health span. So we want to make sure that we are prioritizing self-care. Eat well, get some movement in, make sure that you're getting the sleep that you need, and make that a priority for yourself. Next, we want to be practicing mindfulness and stress reduction. And yes, this is a part of self-care, but I feel like it needs to be pulled out all on its own. Spending some time doing breath work, doing meditation, going to a yoga class, right? Taking that warm bath, reading a book, whatever that looks like for you is vitally important to addressing the emotional and mental health symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. We are very sensitive to cortisol, producing a lot more of it at this stage in our lives. And one of the best things that we can do for ourselves is to make sure that we are doing everything we can to de-stress. I highly recommend Calm or Headspace for some guided meditation. There's a million videos on YouTube on tapping, EFT, reflexology, breath work, all of those kinds of things. They're free. These are free resources for you. Check them out and implement them in your life. You may find that some things work better for you than others. It's so important in this space right here to recognize that if it stresses you out, it's not the right thing to be doing. If meditation doesn't work for you, stop meditating. All right. I feel like so many people, when they talk about stress reduction and mindfulness, they talk about meditation. And so many of us struggle with meditation. And then we find ourselves frustrated and annoyed with ourselves and kind of beating ourselves up about why we can't keep our mind where it's supposed to be. Why is our mind wandering? That kind of thing. That's creating more stress. If that's what's happening for you when you're trying to meditate, stop meditating and go try EFT or go try reflexology or go take a warm bath. Do something else. It is not a one size fits all. It's really what works for you. Number 4 is build a support network. More than any other time in your life, connection matters. This can be in-person connection. This could be online connection, but connection matters. The number one determination of health and lifespan is connection. It's not smoking. It's not alcohol. It's not what you're eating. It's not your weight. It's connection. Connection is very important. We are pack animals. We need to feel connected. And especially as midlife women, when we're going through all of these changes, no one understands it like other midlife women. No one gets it. These are the people that are going to encourage you to set those boundaries, that are going to suggest other relaxation techniques that are maybe working for them, that will create accountability in your new nutrition plan or starting to lift weights, whatever that is, that can share resources and ideas and encouragement and support. So build a support network. I highly recommend My Inner Circle because in Inner Circle, not only do you get that connection with other midlife women and you get that community, but you also get weekly educational content. You get access to free workshops, access to course content related to how to de-stress your life, all kinds of additional resources, and weekly group coaching. So get yourself over into Inner Circle. If you are not there yet, that is the place to be to build this support network. You will love it. It's ready made. It takes something off your plate. You just get in there and bam, you have a support network. Number 5 is consider HRT or natural therapy. HRT is not what you think. And I say that a lot because I feel like so many people think, oh, I can't be on HRT. I thought I couldn't be on HRT for years. I have an increased risk of breast cancer. I'm actually screened 4 times a year. I have a mammogram, an MRI, a breast care specialist. I've got a lot going on there. I have breast cancer in my family, but I am BRCA negative, thank goodness. And I am a candidate for HRT. I think that there is a lot of misinformation about HRT. I highly recommend consulting with Winona or MIDI, both online resources for telehealth, or finding a menopause specialist through the Menopause Society. These are certified menopause specialists. Most doctors, including OBGYNs, receive zero training in menopause. They do not receive education related to menopause or menopause care. Seeing a menopause specialist makes a huge difference. There are a lot of options. In addition, your care provider can also potentially prescribe any kind of medications you might need. If you need antidepressant, anti-anxiety medication, they can recommend natural therapies like supplements. I do not recommend going all weekend warrior on supplements. I do have a video in my library about supplements that are recommended for menopause, but I do not recommend getting in random groups online and just taking whatever supplements people tell you. Some of them are safe, some of them are not. Some of them might be safe for other people, but not for you. They have different effectiveness. They're not all third-party tested. There's a lot there. If you want to learn more about that, make sure that you check out my videos about that. But there are a lot of medical things that can be done or natural therapies that can be done. So you're looking for a menopause specialist through MIDI, Winona, or finding one through the Menopause Society. They all, by the way, will work with your insurance company, so that helps a lot. Or you want to be looking for, say, a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor when you're thinking about natural supplements, so that you can find something that works just right for you, possibly have your vitamin levels tested in advance, so that you know exactly what you need to be taking. And that is generally not covered by insurance, and often it takes a long time to get in with those providers. So if that's something that you're interested in, you might want to make an appointment with them now, even if you don't end up keeping it later, just so that you have it, because it usually, in my area, it takes about 6 months to get in with one of those types of specialists. Number 6 is create a midlife vision. Listen, if you are struggling with depression, low mood, feeling checked out, your life feels kind of gray, loss of identity or purpose, you don't know what's next in your life, you need, as in must have, a midlife vision. Having a plan about what you want your life to look like is going to help you, one, stay motivated and making the lifestyle changes you need to stay healthy. But two, it's also going to help you have things to look forward to get yourself excited and fired up about. And it's going to help you produce more dopamine, which is a huge issue for midlife women. A lot of times we have a drastic decrease in dopamine production, and that's part of why we feel so checked out and so blah. If you get into Inner Circle, you're going to have access to workshops. I have a workshop coming up called the Midlife Reset, where we really dig into how to create a midlife vision, how to identify our values, how to choose our first goal, things like that. So again, get yourself into Inner Circle because it gets you access to almost all of my workshops for free instead of having to pay to get into each individual one of them. So that in and of itself is a smoking deal. Get over there. And number 7, last but not least, is seek professional help. I cannot emphasize enough how important therapy can be at this stage in your life, how important it can be to talk to a crisis line if you need it, how important it can be to reach out to professionals. Unfortunately, the suicide rate in women that are going through perimenopause and menopause is relatively high, and the highest risk time for women is between 40 and 55. So if you are struggling with depression, low mood, anxiety, panic attacks, do not dismiss this. Even though these are symptoms that are connected to perimenopause and menopause, they are also very high risk symptoms that can be very dangerous. So please reach out for professional help. Do not just think, oh, this is just hormonal and it'll just go away. It's important when we are deeply in it, right? And we're struggling to see our way out of it, that we seek the help that we need to get our head above water. So all of these 6 other methods of addressing the emotional and mental health symptoms are great for helping you float in that water. But if you are drowning, if you're struggling with suicidal ideation, you are struggling with caring for your basic needs, It is very important to call a crisis line, to seek therapy, to see a psychiatrist, to get the support you need professionally. Do not dismiss it. Do not write it off. These kinds of mood changes can be very similar to postpartum depression, postpartum anxiety, and they can be very detrimental. So do not be dismissive of it. Let me remind you that you deserve to live the life that you've been dreaming of. You deserve to be the main character in your life. You deserve to pursue your dreams. You deserve to live in a way that you feel proud of, that you feel at peace with, and that you feel joy. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can learn how to reclaim your midlife and build the life you've been dreaming of. I can't wait to see you next time. Bye, everyone.